UDS topic. Okay. What is a UDS? Unified Diagnostic Services. Unified Diagnostics Services. Okay. Unified Diagnostic Services. So what is unified? Means unity. It is a combined kind of thing. Okay. So combined. So what it is combined? Whatever the diagnostics is specifically identifying the problem, identifying the identify the problem. So it's not about problem in some persons, right? So we need to speak in the terms of faults or failures, because it's all about electronics components. No, we'll get a faults or failures. And services, so whatever the problem you identify, so you need to fix it. So how you are doing that? So it is a kind of a services that you will do. So when we go towards the doctor, so what he will do? He will diagnose first. He will make like if you in case of fever, okay. So he will do some pre. Okay, so like when the fever is started, what are the precautions you took in home? So something he will ask you, and parallelly, based upon your input, so the output will say that okay, so you need to do the blood test on, and based upon the blood test, whether what type of fever it is, whether it's a viral fever or any some infections, or it have a short duration of fever. So that diagnosis means he will identify what type of fever, and moreover based upon that the treatment or the medicines will be given to you. Okay, similarly here also, whenever the problem comes in cars, okay, not on, okay, in the cars means specifically on the controllers, failures. So here the engineers will be there. So the engineers will need to identify the problem and need to fix it. Okay, and nowadays when we go to the doctors, okay, so they will do all like the short duration of treatments will be there. Okay, so with help of some they need to do some operations, they will use some tools and they will remove it. It is a kind of a laser treatment or something. And he the advanced technologies added in every field. Okay, so not only in medical, in aerospace, in other satellites divisions, in R&D, some of the R&D means some development centers where they will work for some projects also. So they will use some advanced learning technologies and tools to how they can make it better faster. Similarly, like in automotive industry also, to identify those problems, this diagnostics is a one future where it will get the clear picture. Suppose you have a car, okay, so you are driving on the road. So there is, because of one failure, you are not able to start your car. Okay, you don't know what is the engine. You check the engine, it is working fine, and you so even the brake system is fine, and everything is fine, but you don't know what exactly the problem. So it's not able to start. So if the car you get into the garage, right? So garage means like mechanical shed. It's they what the engineers generally the mechanical person also kind of engineer. So he need to identify the problem and need to fix it. Okay. So what he will do, he will take a tool. Okay. So he will there will be the in cars we have a OBD DB9 pin. Okay. So the DB9 pin will be there. So he will take that DB9 pin connectivity. Okay. So he will plug into it, and with the help of the tool he will send some request. Okay, request is, so tell me what is your problem. So like that he a tool, so that tool will be, with the help of that he able to identify that there is a problem or failure in the vehicle. Okay, and how we are doing in the real time testing. So in the real time, like we have some scenarios like whatever the data you need to read. So because every software it have some security features, right? So and we have some security access and moreover the communication to check and some of the diagnostics. So these are simple way. Okay, so we have similarly like how the garage person will send a request. Here also we are sending a request because as a part of a development or tester, we need to send some request, right? Okay, so to do that, we have a default section. Okay, so we'll activate our canary and we'll make our 1001 is one request. So if you send that request, we'll get the positive response. Okay, so here you will get the response. Okay, so means this whatever the tool he will take in taken here and plugged into the DB9 connector, he will send some request. Means sending of the request will be like clicking here. So when I will click this and make the request, so I will get some response. Okay, so the positive request is what we given to the ECU, and the response will be what the it is coming from the cars. Okay, so that will keep on getting it. Okay, so if I make some request to read the serial number, okay, so to execute, okay, so here I will get the serial number as a 00 because we don't have anything as of now. So if I need to update the serial numbers as 1, 2, and 3, 4, and 5, 6, and 7, 8. So this is my serial number. Just I updated it. So it's saying that some of the invalid parameters are not updated. Means in cars, okay, if you take into the garages, because these cars are costlier, and moreover the whatever the software they are using, they should follow some security features, and they cannot change the software. Okay, so the garage person cannot change the software, and he cannot modify the hardware also. Okay, hardware and software cannot be modified. So whenever he is trying to do some modification like this, you will get some invalid. You whatever the parameters you are passing, it is a invalid. So like that, garage person also will get the information. Then he will think, okay, why I need to send this data? This is not my work, right? So where I need to identify the problem of the um, hardware, I need to just plug the wire or something, I need to change the sensor, so that only his responsibility should work. So he should not do the modification. Okay, so for to ensure that whatever the software we are giving to the garage person, it is working, he are now not able to access. And moreover, not only the garage person who is hackers, now we know about online hackers, and moreover the software which we are flashing into the cars also, it during the flight, right, whenever the car is driving straight, so that time the software will be automatically how our mobiles will update the software. Similarly, even the cars also will update the softwares, and whenever the cars are in a start during start phase, the software will be reloaded and it will be booted up. Okay, so the online uploading of the software is also happening right now in the cars. Similarly, during the uploading or downloading the software, there will be chances of the hackers will get your software code details and they will demand the money with the customers, means the owner of the cars, like who are selling the car. Like if we say Volvo or Mercedes Benz, they are the organization, means they are the manufacturers of those cars. Okay, these hackers will say, I know your hardware number, which is the hardware you are using. Garage person is the one who able to connect the laptop and just is making some points in the hands. Okay, so just for information, so how we are able to debug it. Okay, so before understanding, there are some keywords you need to remember. Operation cycle. What is operation cycle? So whenever we connect, where we took the car to the garage, what he will do, right? So he will take the first step is he will turn on the key, try to make the car on and off. Okay, so on off like that he will do, because he is trying to check whether the car will start in that phase of time. Okay, that is the operation cycle. Okay, and even when we go to the doctors, so he will check the temperature, what is the body temperature, and he will take the stethoscope and he will check our breathing conditions, right? So what is the heart pulse like we are getting. So those initial phase we called as the operation cycles. So here operation cycle is the state in which ECU is operational. Means who is the patient here? Controller means whatever the electronic controller is the patient here. So operation cycle is the state in which ECU is operational. Okay. And next is this specific for the vehicle. Okay, so the ECU which we talks is for the vehicle. Okay, like whether we are able to run, whether the engine is started or engine is it is trying to start, it is a pre-running, whether it is a cranking is the initial phase of the vehicle starting, that we called as a cranking. Cranking is where we have in engine we have a cam shaft and crankshaft. Okay, so when both syncs right, so then the engine will starts. So in interviews they will ask you sometime, during project you can learn. So what is a cranking? So as a part of learning, so whenever the shaft and crankshaft will be there. Okay, so in engine we have a cylinder. Okay, so here this is not a proper diagram. Let's make you to understand. So this is like a power pin. Okay, so the plug of the power. Okay, that we call as a power glue. So here fuel will take. So fuel intake here it will be fuel intake, and here is the exhaust, whatever the dust will be there. So how I got the dust after entering the fuel? So here we have a the cylinder. Okay, so what this cylinder will do? So this we have the crankshaft and crankshaft that makes to rotation of the cylinder. So here we have a some space. Okay, so whenever the cylinder is coming down, the fuel mixture will be there. The fuel will take and the air will be mixed because of the high temperature. When you compress right air into the closed path, so the temperature and pressure will create in between the fuel enters, and there will be blast will be happen. So after blast the power stroke will be coming. Okay, so that power stroke is the we are getting into the plugin. So from here it will be configured to the battery and other stuff. Okay, so then the continuous vehicle will be started and rotating, and the dust will be coming out here. Okay, so this is a part of a cylinder. So the cranking vehicle, when it will start, whenever both cam and crank syncs together, so it will be started. And running is once the engine starts running, starts the vehicle start running. Okay, so before running, like it, if you say it is a 5 km per hour or something, so once the cranks means vehicle is started, our bike or anything, so the initial phase will be a 0 km, that will be the pre-running. So then when the vehicle running some speed, that will be the running speed. Okay, this is a operation cycle like where the ECU will be specifically do the on-off condition. Next is a part of a KL30. So very important point, you can write down KL30. KL30. What is this KL30 is? So in controller, we have the controller. So in the real time, okay, KL30 is something where we are supplying the main power supply, okay, to the ECU. And in between, we have a ignition also. Like this is from example, like a battery. In our bikes, we have the key, ignition key. Okay, means our bike key. You can say like that is a bike key. It is nothing but a ignition key. Battery supply will be there continuously, but ignition what it will do, it will break the what this is like something the bike need to start it. Okay, so when these futures and this battery will interact, whenever you turn on uh, this phase, like example, if you say here the bike is off. Okay, so this is like a battery and this is our bike switch, and parallelly when it is connected right here. So from here, this is fallen to here, or it is in an on state. So that time what will happen? So the bike will be started and it's running. So in our how exactly we are doing in the development and testing also, we need to verify whatever the supply we are doing between the ECU, how it will impact in the real time. Okay, so that will be a part of a KL30. Okay, so what is the definition of KL30? In interviews they will ask you. So KL30, this is a refers as the permanent power supply connection. This refers to a permanent power supply connection. Okay. And its simple term, like KL30 represents the power source. It is same like source is which is supplying. So that is a always on. Okay, so you write down KL30 refers to the permanent power supply connection. And in simple terms, KL30 represents a power source that is always on. Even when the vehicle is off also, it is always on. This connection is often used to power essential systems that requires constant electricity supply, such as a ECU memory, clock, security system. It ensures that vital functions can operate even when the vehicle is not used. Like example, if you see in the car side, engine is not started. Okay, so even though when we have the key, right, the car key, just we enter into the car, like we can turn on the switch and light and everything we can do. Okay, so even we can turn on the AC also for a long time because we didn't turn on the engine, but still other functionalities are working. So it is the same like here also. The scale that is represents a power source that is always on. Okay, so whenever vehicle is turned off. Okay, so here the 2 points you should remember. KL that is the permanent power supply. So permanent power supply to the ECU, like you need to give in the interview. That's it. And next is a KL15. So KL15 is it is like the ignition key. So after power supply, what we have the ignition key. Okay, so write down ignition key. So KL30 is a ignition switch power. You can write down KL13 is a ignition switch power. Ignition switch power connection. Like that you can give. It's clear, right? You are able to understand, right?
Sir.
These are a real-time terminologies. Okay, so whenever you look into the requirements, you will get like this kind of information. So next, the other point you have KL30 represents a power source that is activated whenever the ignition key is on, turn on. As I told you, right, like it is a ignition key. So whenever we power on the to specific ECU, so this ignition key we are turning on, it provides the power to various electronic components and systems that are required. Means it will be, we are operating intermediate, right? So it makes us to work for the other also. When the ignition is turned off, power to the KL30 circuit is also laying off the cutoff. Okay, so you can write down this some points. This refers to an ignition switched power. It refers to an ignition switched power supply connection. Okay. So it represents a power source. It represents a power source that is activated when vehicle ignition is when it when vehicle ignition is turned on. When ignition is turned on. Okay. So it provides next point. It provides a it provides a power to it provides a power to various electrical components and systems. Various electrical components and systems. Okay. So, like, how the scale 30 KL came frame from, what is the purpose is, just you can write a short notes where you need to understand what is a KL is. In German, we call as a claiming. Okay, because German language is different. Okay, so in English, how we talk, right? Similarly, the German languages differ. Okay, we cannot understand also. So that is a language. If who are need to settle in Germany, they need to learn German and they need to go. If they know Germany, they will get a good opportunities. Okay, so Kel is the Kalemi. Okay, so in English, what we call this? So we call as a connectors or connection. Okay, so this is a German word and and it is in our English for our understanding. Okay, is it clear, right?
Yes, sir.
So next is whatever no. So it why KL15, KL13 it came. So just to make you to understand about the information also. So whenever KL15, if you say it is the connector. Okay, so connector of 15 because uh, each connector 1, connector 2, it have different naming and different connectivity. Okay, so now the KL15 is the ignition switch. You can write down this short notes also. Ignition switch position. Ignition switch position we call as a KL15, and KL13 is the battery supply. So generally, this is the main voltage that we are supplying. Okay, 12 volts battery or 13 volts battery. So it will be like that. Okay, so you can write down is a battery supply is on is on all the time, on all the time. In interviews, you can give these short notes. Okay, so if they ask you brief, just you need to explain the above points. KL31 also is there. Okay, so here this will be the positive charging and this will be the negative charging. Battery supply of negative charging. Negative negative charge. Okay, so this is a unswitch. This is switched condition. This will be an unswitched condition. Okay. So is it clear, right? Now other vehicles, no, we got a KLR. Okay, specifically for or is for the remote access. Okay, so it's not required as of now. So these are few terminologies you need to remember to understand the real things. Okay. And next is what does UDS stands for? So as we discussed, it stands for Unified Diagnostics and Services. So it is a combination of two standards, that is ISO 1423. This is a one protocol. Okay, KWP protocol, KW 2000. What is this KW is? Keyword protocol. Keyword protocol. So it is a different protocol. So ISO they given as a 1423. This is the standard. 2000. Just a name of the protocol they given. Again, it is a like previously the diagnostics which we do on the CAN. So now we can work on with the Lean protocol also, even with the FlexRay or Ethernet. So those areas also we can do the diagnostics. So initially it was specific to the CAN only. So that diagnostics name they defined as a 157653. Okay, so now this both is combined and they formed as a UDS. So that standard is 14229 is the ISO standard. It given the name. Okay, so you can write down the norm UDS. It was created combination with ISO standard 14230 and 15765. So with this two combination, these are both combined. Okay, means that is the unified. Unified means it is a combined. Okay. So the standard provides the what it will provide. So it provides the unified set of diagnostic services for all the ECUs. Means in the cars we have many controllers, right? So for communicating with those controllers, these two combination ISO standards it combined together. Okay, so they told, okay, you are making separately what of different sections and different layers and different activities. I don't want to do that. We'll combine together and we'll make some services. We'll work together. So like it is a part of a unified. And the next is the purpose was to define the common requirement for diagnostic the system. And moreover, we need to check the communication because the protocol is specifically for the communication purpose. And moreover, with the help of the protocol, we are able to read the data and we are able to identify the data. Okay. So next is whatever the failures that we are reading, right? So I need to, as I told you, the garage person, he need to read the data. Okay. So how he able to read the data? So because there should be some memory where the data can be stored. Okay. So that data is in the EEPROM memory. Okay. You can write down the notes on this point. This is a very important point you need to remember. So the faults are okay. Generally, the faults are stored as very important. Underline this: faults are stored as a DTC. Faults are stored as a DTC diagnostic trouble code in EEPROM memory. So what is the full form of EEPROM is electrically erasable program read-only memory. Okay, so in that memory, in every controller, it have the memory. So in that memory, the data will be stored. Okay, so if sometimes you were able to remember, like some of the scenarios in the helicopter crashes or airplanes got crashed, so they will take the black box. They will say, "I need to take the black box," and they will read the data. So generally this black box is nothing but some memory where it contains the information of engine speed, what is the height of the aeroplane or helicopter that it went, when, what is the time, what is the um, distance it lost the communication. So what is the occurrence time, how many times the file fault is came. So those details will be there in the box. So when will they will connect into the system and they will read the data and they will analyze the data. So similarly here also in the cars, we need to read those informations and we need to get that information. Based upon that information, we are able to identify the particular failure or the problem in the controller, okay, in the vehicle specifically. Because when you take the car to the garage, right, so they cannot go and check each and every controller, because in the car we have many controllers, right, like approximately it will be like a 40 to 50 controllers will be there, and there will be the some big controller where it will interact with the other components. So it's very difficult, right, to know the failure of each system. So now what they will do, they will be a one diagnostic tool where they will read the data. So with the help of the data only, they will identify, okay, there is the ECU of body control module ECU or airbag ECU. So there is a problem. So that information will be read, and immediately what it will do, it will start making the um, reading of those detail, like some sensor it got filed, when it is filed, what is the voltage it supplied, because of the voltage got short circuited or any ground is happened. So that it details will be stored in the EEPROM memory. So this is a main important point. Okay, you need to be remembered. So what is the UDS stand for? It stands for the Unified Diagnostic Services. And moreover, it is a unified means it is a combination of both the KWP and the diagnostics on the con. And so whatever the faults that available in the ECU, it will be stored in the form of diagnostic trouble code. So in the memory, so in which part of memory it will be? It will be in the EEPROM memory where we are reading the data. Okay, so how we are reading this in the Canoe, we know with the help of the tool we are reading the data. So so here what it will do, so we are able to capture those details, um, uh, and it is only for reading. Okay, with the help of the tool we cannot do the modification. If you go to the garage, he can only read the data, he cannot do the modifications. Okay, so similarly, like when it is going to the manufacturer areas also, they will do only the read operations. Okay, so development centers are where they will do from scratch on the code and they will do some modifications. So that will be like a some of the companies, so like Bosch and Mercedes, they will do the development activities and they will deploy to the manufacturer areas. Okay, and diagnostics is used to find it. So you write down the problem. One more point. So by using diagnostic tool, we can able to read the faults in the vehicle. We can able to read the faults in the vehicle. Okay. So next, diagnostics is used to find causes of a failure or faults in the vehicle. Faults in the vehicle. It identifies the failures in the vehicle where exactly it is. This is a very important point you need to learn. Okay, if I may something important or underline, so those are the points you need to do always revision. I am saying since from the class starts. Okay. Next is the introduction of this. Whatever the diagnostic services we need to know, means what type of services, what are the standards, what is required. So because everywhere it should all the process should be documented, means it have some OEMs and it have some different standards, ISO, SAE and OEMs, all those should be followed. Okay, so these are some importance you can write down. ISO, you know about, right? ISO full form, International Standard Organization. Inter ISO, International Standard organization. International standard organization. Organization. What is SAE? SAE is the automotive specific. Okay. So society of this is like some US countries or some part of automotive companies, no, like they should follow these standards. So then only they will accept that whatever you are making for the vehicles, so you need to get some approval. Okay, so this is a society society of automobile automobile or automotive, anything automobile or automotive engineers. So you write down this also. And next, OEMs. So if I say OEMs every time, so or in the organizations also you will get a real time. Okay, so like interviews they will ask you know about what is a OEM or something. So you need to write down OEM. Original, original, sorry, original equipment, equipment manufacturer. Means like if you take Bolt or any net, okay, who are making the manufacturing of the bolt, no, so that person will be OEM. And even the cars designing. Okay, so development is so like they will do design on the tools, right? That will be the suppliers, it will be. And OEMs are the manufacturers. Okay, so manufacturers, original equipment manufacturers. So these are the some terms you should remember. Okay, so introduction is so original equipment manufacturers, even the vehicle manufacturer themselves. So UDS is a protocol. It's a combination of the KWP and all those stuff we discussed. And next is in we have the layers, right? Like there is a protocol. So in the CAN protocol, how it works. So it whatever we are making the services that we are requesting to the ECU, no, so it will works in the application layer. Okay, so ISO 14229 UDS is a application layer protocol that uses the lower level protocols like CAN and KLIN. You can write down this point. Okay, so this KWP 2000 is the KW protocol. So I told you, so on vehicle diagnostics that we are doing, and CAN protocol we are specifically for the communication purpose. Okay, and next is UDS protocol. You can write down the important point. UDS protocol provides number of functionalities for repairer, developers, and testers so that they can perform. So what they can perform, so they can read and write the data into the memory and the program and flash the data into the memory and some start routines. Some start routines. So this is so one more point like what exactly who will help for the what. Okay, so it have what are the so whatever the garage person or engineer, so they will specifically follow some categories. Okay, so what are those categories and how it is categorized is so it has categorized into the commands. So there are 6 commands. Okay, so you write down that diagnostics and communication management fault unit, diagnostics and communication management fault unit, And this is the commands. Okay, so just you need to follow the rules. If they say, okay, you need to follow the rules, guys, don't know what is the rules, right? So if someone should mention in detail information what is the rule or what you should follow, right? So it is a part of a rules. Okay, you should follow the rules like that. In the diagnostic, it's mentioning this is the commands. So the first rule is like diagnostics and communication management fault function unit. It has separate field, and the data transmission fault functional unit. So it means specifically for data transmission, you should follow like this. Whenever your management you need to do something, you should follow it. So these are some rules. Like division wise, they will set the rules. Okay, data transmission functional unit. Store. Okay, you have a storing information, right? You should follow some rules, but they don't know. They didn't tell what is what in detail you should follow the rule. Okay, so going forward, you can understand. Store data transmission function unit. Input output control unit. Okay, input output, you are doing something, right? Okay, you are giving the input and verifying the output. Okay, you should follow some rules. Input output control functional unit. And remote activation of routine function means whenever you are making some changes remotely, means without wire or wireless, so how you need to impact. So these are the some commands, so you should understand. Okay, and upload and download the functional unit. And these are the 6 commands you need to understand on diagnostics activity. Okay, so this is all about the diagnostics introduction. So tomorrow class we'll continue it why we need to use the diagnostics in the vehicle. So as I told you, to read the file or solve the problems. Okay. So how we are sending the request and what are the response, so that we are going to read in the data. Okay, is it clear?